Charlie's had loads of girlfriends over the years, but not all of his relationships were created equal. Some were disasters, others changed him forever, and a few nearly destroyed him. So today we're ranking the 7 levels of Charlie's partners, and what each one reveals about who he was becoming.
Level 1. The casual connection.
This is where Charlie Harper lived most of his life, the bottom tier. Relationships that barely qualified as relationships at all. And Candy captured this early phase perfectly. She wasn't very bright, but she was sweet, pretty, and completely innocent at heart.
You're lying to me, Charlie.
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
Yet what made her stand out wasn't the relationship itself, but the timing of it. Candy showed up right after a heartbreak that would eventually change Charlie in ways he didn't see coming, making her the rebound girl that closed one chapter of his life and quietly introduced the next. However, in the beginning, Charlie drifted toward girls with zero emotional depth like Candy, where everything stayed simple, effortless, and uncomplicated. Their brief connection disappeared just as quickly as it formed, leaving nothing behind except a reminder of how quickly Charlie used to move on. But when you live that kind of life, the universe eventually sends you someone a little less predictable.
Level 2. The crazy one.
This level is all about the woman whose intensity overwhelmed Charlie, and Miss Pasternak was the perfect example, and also the moment Charlie learned that trying to manipulate a situation can sometimes explode right back in his face. Because when Jay gets suspended for flipping off his teacher, Charlie starts dating Miss Pasternak in hopes of lifting his nephew's suspension. Except Miss Pasternak wasn't your average elementary school teacher. She had big issues. Yet at first, everything seemed fine. She started giving Jake amazing grades, special treatment, and the suspension was lifted. For a moment, Charlie actually believed he'd outsmarted the system. But the more time he spent around her, the clearer it became that her moods could swing without warning. And Charlie knew he had to get out.
You're mad at me.
No.
Yes, you are.
No, not mad.
Then what's your problem?
But when he broke up with her, that's when things went completely off the rails. Miss Pasternak lost her teaching job, had to move into a motel, and her parents even disowned her. Years later, they ran into each other again. Yes, she was played by a completely different actress here. Charlie, who was drowning in guilt, tried to help her rebuild by hiring her as Jake's private tutor. However, her behavior shifted again. She became deeply religious, believed Charlie had been sent by God to guide her, and the whole situation escalated until she wanted to marry him. So he dumped her again. This chaotic level showed how quickly Charlie's attempts at control could spiral into something he never planned for. But if you thought that was intense, you are very wrong. Because the next level reveals something much darker about Charlie.
Level 3. Mommy issues.
Lydia was the girlfriend Charlie dumped because she was too much like his mother. But here's what made it really disturbing. He didn't even realize it at first. Lydia seemed perfect at first glance. She was confident, elegant, successful in real estate, and carried herself like someone who had her entire life under control. The moment she opened her mouth, though, something felt familiar, and not in a good way.
Did his father drink?
What choice did he have?
Charlie, don't be snide.
And stand up straight.
Lydia didn't just resemble Charlie's mother, Evelyn. She was basically a carbon copy. Every expression, every comment, every perfectly delivered insult had the same energy Charlie had spent his entire life trying to escape. It was like watching him date his mom, and everyone could see it. Everyone except Charlie, who got super defensive, irritated, almost offended that anyone would make the comparison. It wasn't until he saw Lydia interact with her 2 sons that reality hit him.
Do you always have to embarrass me? What are you laughing at? You're no prize either.
She treated them exactly the way his mom treated Charlie and his brother, cold, manipulative, and emotionally distant. Suddenly, he couldn't unsee it. The relationship stopped feeling like a romance and started to look like a replay of his childhood. So breaking up with her was the only thing that made sense. You can't build a future with someone who represents your trauma. That's not love, that's therapy gone wrong. But at least Lydia wasn't pretending about who she was.
Level 4. the con artist.
Some girlfriends tested Charlie's patience, but Courtney tested his bank balance. With her, romance became a long game where charm was the hook and vulnerability was the bait. Manipulative but charming, always one step ahead, using emotions as tools instead of feelings. Courtney was that archetype in its purest form. This walking red flag entered the show as the daughter of Evelyn's fiancé Teddy, making her Charlie's soon-to-be stepsister. Despite this, Charlie is immediately attracted to her, shocker, and she later uses their secret affair to pressure him into buying a Ferrari from her, letting her keep the relationship hidden while she pockets the commission.
Congratulations! You now own a Ferrari.
Yippee.
But for now, Charlie still thought he was in love. On the night of their parents' wedding, Courtney even convinced him she was broke, so he offers to lend her $50,000. Hours later, Teddy's dead body was found in Charlie's bed, and what followed was pure madness. The investigators found out that Teddy and Courtney weren't father and daughter after all. They were partners in crime. She had outplayed him emotionally and financially. The whole thing was a scam to get money from Evelyn and Charlie. Courtney was arrested and sent to prison. And here's the wildest part. Despite everything, Charlie told her he'd wait for her. That's the power of the con artist girlfriend. She doesn't just take your money, she makes you doubt your own judgment. Strangely for Charlie, everything ended fine. He and Courtney both realized their relationship had run its course. And in an extremely rare moment for him, they parted on good terms. Which is definitely not something we can say for his next girlfriend.
Level 5. The hard to get.
This is the type of woman who turns attention into a game. She does not rush in or give clear signals. Instead, she holds back, stays distant, and lets the other person chase harder and harder, enjoying the extra effort and focus that comes with it. Charlie was used to women throwing themselves at him. Yet with this kind of girl, he was suddenly the one doing the chasing. And in 2.5 Men, this pattern showed up in Mia. Charlie met her at a cafe, tried his go-to move, and ran straight into a wall.
I'm Charlie.
Don't care.
She shut him down instantly, without flirting or even looking at him. She simply was not interested. Desperate to keep seeing her, he pulled Jake into the plan, telling Mia that his nephew loved dancing and needed lessons. Jake agreed to play along, while Charlie used every class as an excuse to spend more time around her. Slowly, Mia warmed up to him, but once they were together, things got serious fast. I mean, Mia was Charlie's first real relationship. The first woman he genuinely considered changing for. She wanted structure and discipline, so she pushed him toward a healthier lifestyle, asking him to cut back on cigars, drink less, eat better, and even go jogging. In theory, it sounded like self-improvement. In practice, it felt to him like a constant test. For about 15 minutes, he tried to play along, and it looked like he might actually be willing to adjust who he was for a relationship. But old habits are stubborn, and instead of admitting that he hated her new rules, he started slipping back into his usual lifestyle and hiding it. When Mia discovered the truth, she left, walked away from Malibu, and left him with regret and relief in equal measure. Later on, however, she returned, and that old pool came back with her. Their connection sparked again, and this time Charlie went straight for the big move. He proposed, Mia said yes, and for a moment it seemed like the hard-to-get woman had become the woman he might actually marry. Then, just before the ceremony, Mia asked when Alan would be moving out. She wanted a home with her husband, not a shared space with his brother permanently on the couch. So for Mia it was a practical boundary. But for Charlie, it was giving up a piece of the life he had grown used to, which is why he refused to kick Alan out, and the engagement collapsed on the spot. Yet ironically, Mia returns again in season 7's premiere, asking Charlie for help with her singing career, but in reality, she clearly just wants him back. By that time, however, Charlie has already begun a relationship with Chelsea.
Level 6. The power match.
Chelsea was the real deal. She wasn't just another girlfriend. She was the girlfriend. The one Charlie loved the most, and the one who challenged him emotionally and intellectually. By the time she showed up on screen, she and Charlie had already been dating for a while. Their relationship quickly progressed. They worked through problems, even went to couples therapy together. And then, something incredible happened.
Oh, I hate you.
That's too bad, because I love you.
Charlie accidentally told her he loved her, but all she said back was thank you. Thinking this unbalanced the relationship, Charles takes her out on a date and slips a diamond ring into her glass of wine, which she accidentally swallows. Only after he tells her what he's done does she finally say the words back and admits she loves him too. From there, everything moved fast. They moved in together, got engaged, and started planning a shared future. For the first time, Charlie was fully committed. But of course, nothing's ever that simple in his world. You see, Chelsea asked him to sign a prenup. And this is when Charlie discovered she owned several expensive properties she never mentioned. He felt blindsided, like there was a whole side of her life he was only just now seeing.
When were you planning on telling me you own buildings?
I didn't think it was that important.
Well, it's important enough for you to want a prenup.
But sadly, that wasn't the final blow. Chelsea then met a handsome lawyer named Brad and became attracted to him. She admitted it while wearing Charlie's ring. I mean, how do you come back from that? But still, there's one woman who remained in Charlie's life longer than anyone else. Someone who was there from the very beginning and stayed until the very end. Which brings us to
Level 7. Married.
Yes, Charlie actually got married at the end. However, that doesn't mean Rose was the perfect woman for him. She was kind of the opposite. Rose lived only a few houses down from Charlie. They spent one night together, and from that moment on, she became obsessed. She watched him constantly, showed up uninvited, crossed every boundary known to man, and Charlie did nothing about it. Why would someone tolerate that? Because underneath all the chaos, Rose understood Charlie in ways no one else did. She saw through every lie he told himself, knew his patterns before he repeated them, and somehow never judged him for any of it. It was twisted, sure, yet it was also the closest thing to unconditional acceptance he'd ever experienced. And that's a hard thing to walk away from. For 8 years, Rose existed in this weird limbo between stalker and friend.
You should find someone who can give you the attention you want, need, deserve, require.
But then the whole Chelsea thing happened. The woman Charlie genuinely loved. And when that fell apart, when Chelsea admitted she had feelings for someone else, something inside Charlie shattered. He spiraled hard after that, drinking more than usual, plus going through the motions of his old life without any of the enjoyment. He never quite recovered from losing Chelsea, and Rose watched it all happen. When you're that broken, you stop making good decisions. You take the escape route that's offered, even when you know it's the wrong one. Then, Rose did something genius. She staged an entire wedding to make Charlie jealous, and it couldn't have worked better. All of a sudden, he realized what he was losing and thought he loved her. Charlie started what he thought was an affair with a married woman, so he took her to Paris for a romantic weekend where they got married. Yet this was far from love. It was Charlie grasping for anything that felt even a little familiar after losing Chelsea. And everything that happened next made Rose one of the most hated characters in 2.5 Men. But if you want to know who's even more despised than her, check out this video right here.